views and opinions expressed by the following program and its participants are solely their current opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Bobo 89.1 FM and DMS Broadcasting respective stations.
Hi, this is Patricia Bryan. Tune in on Mondays between 5 and 6:30 p.m. on Bobo 89.1 FM for my new talk show, Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan. Do you want to know about the legal system in the Cayman Islands? Do you want to be informed about legal issues surrounding employment law, civil litigation, landlord and tenant, criminal law, family law, wills and trust, estates? We will discuss this all on my new legal talk show where there's nothing going on except legal talk. It's called Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan, Mondays at 5 to 6:30 p.m. on Bobo 89.1 FM.
Are you ready for this? It's time for a twist. Unexpected, a new direction. Wait and see, it's gonna be a game changer.
Good evening. This is Patricia Bryan for your very first episode of Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan. Thank you for tuning in. I am really excited for the beginning of this show. Welcome to my listeners for tuning in. And our very first guest will be the Truman Bodden Law School. I have our guest in here, and she will start to introduce herself. Where better to start in the arena of law than doing legal studies? My guest will introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Panades, and I work for the Truman Bodden Law School of the Cayman Islands. In there, I am the Master of Laws course leader in International Finance, and I also lecture across the Master of Laws and our program in law, our Bachelor's in Law. I've been in Cayman for 7 years now, and I enjoy like the closeness with the students and like the personal contact and our open door policy in TBLS the most. And I congratulate here Miss Patricia Bryan for having started this very, very useful podcast series, which definitely covers a gap in the Cayman market.
Thank you, Laura, if I may use your first name.
Yes,
Is that fine?
absolutely.
Thank you very much. As a prospective student of the Cayman Islands Law School, I know all too well how important it is to have a legal education. Any area of law, it starts with being aware of the legal systems. So tell me a little bit about how the Cayman Islands, well, now known as the Truman Bodden Law School, it used to be known as the Cayman Islands Law School. Tell me a bit about how the law school came about. How did it originally get organized?
Our dear law school on Ireland was initially indeed called the Cayman Islands Law School. It was funded in 1982 by the governor at the time, which was Mr. Peter Lloyd, and it came out of an idea of the Cayman Islands government. So far, up until, well, before 1982, we had been sending Caymanian students to other universities, mostly in the UK and Jamaica, because of deep cultural connections with both countries. And it came a time, once Cayman became a British overseas territories of its own right, where we thought, well, there is definitely a demand for legal education, and why should we keep sending our students abroad? Where they are like away from their families, they are incurring a lot of costs, and they might have like cultural shocks that they not always feel comfortable with. So then,
We're still having that today.
yeah. So as an initiative from the government, they decided back then to just open the Cayman Islands Law School to provide top-tier local education on island. At the time, there was already awareness on how important it is to have good quality degrees. So the University of Liverpool, which had already legal connections with the Cayman Islands, sent one of their prestigious professors, the late Professor Peter Rowe, to start the Bachelor of Laws here. So initially, like back in 1982, about 50 years ago. It started with a very small cohort, I believe, of like no more than 5 students.
Okay.
And it already exhibited like most of the hallmarks of today of like really catered legal education, extreme care for the students, and very like assistance to them in every possible way without compromising the quality of our legal studies.
Right. So tell me now, how did the school transition to becoming the Truman Bodden Law School? Because if I'm not sure if you're aware, Mr. Truman is a very well-known and respected attorney here in the Cayman Islands. His history goes way, way back, and I was really impressed. I don't know how they chose his name, but it is befitting. So maybe you can enlighten us to how they came about to choose his name to name the school.
Absolutely. Truman Bodden has got an extremely well-known reputation on Ireland. And from the beginning of our law school, he was one of our biggest supporters.
Right.
So in recognition of his effort from the very beginning, back in 1982, to open a law school on Ireland, it was decided that the name would be befitting. It is precisely in order to honor his legal legacy on Ireland.
Yes.
Also, Truman Bodden, even now, continues to be one of the most undeniable supporters of the law school, and frequently, whenever
I expect nothing less of him.
Exactly. Like whenever his health allows, he still attends our graduation gala in August every year and greets the students and always has his smile on.
That sounds like Mr. Truman. It's very proud when I can call the school Truman Bodden Law School. You know, I often try to market the law school when I can. You know, we have a medical school here, and I comparably put that together with the law school and say, we have a Truman Bodden Law School here. The Cayman Islands is able to boast about a law school. And that's another reason why I thought it would be befitting to have the law school on as my first guest, because I would like to see the law school grow. I would like to see students coming from all over the world, more than they're doing now, to attend our law school as they're doing with the medical school, you know? So the some of the other things I wanted to know, you know, if when the law school started, you know, was that its original location? I mean, do you know? I know it's in the building across from the court's office presently.
Yes.
So parking. I think they need to really have their own campus now. Do you have an idea of? Not if you have an idea. I know that you know this information because you've been through this a few times. But just give us some background information on you know when it first started. I know you said it's been around for about 50 years, and I've seen a friend, Mr. Luan Bodden, recently on his Facebook page had a picture of, I guess, one of our very first courthouses in the island. And I understand that passed down to the law school. So I wanted to get an idea of how the law school, their operations from way back when, if you have a little bit more history you can share.
Yes, the history of the Truman Bodden Law School is linked to every aspect of the island. Originally was located in the tower, I believe. Like that is...
That's right. It was at the tower
Yes.
building. I do remember that now that you've said that.
So initially the law school was located in the tower building, which was behind the current Parliament building. But because of this links between, talking about the history of the law school.
I do remember it being at that location.
Yeah.
Now. Yes.
It's talking about the history of the law school is talking about the history of the Cayman Islands and the
Islands,
modern
absolutely.
Cayman Islands. So originally it was in the tower building, but then Ivan rendered that building destroyed.
Destroyed, yes.
So shortly after Hurricane Ivan, the law school started its new academic year. And they did not want to falter in the face of adversity. So what they did is, with that building destroyed and our library as well, that meant that for the academic year in 2004-2005, the law school took place all across the island. I've been told that some lessons were at some of the airport buildings which withstood the Hurricane Ivan. Some, like the tutorials, happened in all sorts of rooms inside local law firms that were still standing. So during that year, they found and used every location
They could.
everything that was available
Right.
after the devastating impact
It's
of the
like
hurricane.
what has happened with the pandemic too. Everybody had to find a location to
Exactly.
study.
It's needs must.
Yeah, so I can imagine what you're sharing happening.
But what is important from here is that despite all the adversity and despite the terrible consequences of the hurricane, the law school kept going.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then after the hurricane, they found the current location now, which is in Monaco Towers. That is the building with the Cayman flag, like in front of the courts.
Right.
And well, it's between the
Where Starbucks is located, guys.
Yes, our students are very happy about that. So it is like in the intersection between, let's say, like the courts and the public library by the bus depot. So it's really, really
Easy to find, yes.
We are on the second and third floor. And top fact, we do have some of the best views that a law school can have.
Absolutely agree with you there. Which is very good for studying. If you're a student like myself, when you're studying and you need a break mentally to think about reading those laws, you can just glance out the window and bring your mind back after a few minutes. It's a beautiful location. Absolutely agree with that.
It is, and it's in the middle of town. It's very well connected. If you work in Georgetown or if you work even in a government building or thereabouts, it's, I would say, maybe you can even walk to the law school. But if that is not an option, then yes, there are parking facilities available, and our students know about that and use them. So definitely the law school has, for historical and for government reasons, has always been located in Georgetown because we are great supporters of our town, and it has changed locations only when necessary, but never interrupting the provision of our studies.
It's strategically located too because the courts is right there. You know, and
Exactly.
all of the law firms are strategically in Georgetown also. So it's a central hub. Do you know or are you aware if they have any plans to expand the law school, maybe take over that whole building, perhaps?
I think I mean that escapes what I know, but I think that for the moment we're going to be located in the same building
Right.
because that's where the students feel like at home. The law school is part of the portfolio of legal affairs, but we do want our students to feel that what is most important is that they get an independently scrutinized legal education.
Right.
So actually being in our own building helps the students to say that although we're part of the government, they are free to pursue legal education
Right.
as it should,
Right.
on the basis of absolutely rigorous.
And that's
academic
that's
criteria.
very important in the legal field. Very,
Exactly
very
so.
important. So tell us now about the director. We know who our present director is. Do you know who was it? I'm sure it wasn't always him, but it probably would have.
For
Could
most
have
of the
been.
time, it has been him.
Yes. So just go ahead and give us some background about the incredible director of the Truman Bodden Law School. Very, very inviting, hospitable, professional, pleasant person. I won't say his name. I'll let you say his name.
Yes. Our current director is Mr. Davis. So hello to my boss from here.
Hi, Mr. Davies.
Yes, Mitchell Davies has been one of the great figures in the whole of the history of the Truman Bodden Law School. He arrived on Ireland, I believe, in the early 90s. So definitely, he's been for decades at the law school. He very rapidly climbed through all of our hierarchy and became the director shortly after he arrived, and he's done a splendid job. Like, he is a man that is a very good and skilled negotiator. He does help the students wherever possible and has got their best interest in mind. And he always advocates for both the law school and his staff and the students.
I absolutely agree with you, Laura. I've known Mr. Davies maybe 21, 22 years, and he has always been the same person throughout. His office is always open. He's very responsive to emails. He's a strategic problem solver, and he is definitely the best. I actually wish he could also be the president of the UCCI, but
That would be
that's
too many
neither here.
hours for one
Yeah,
person.
that definitely would be. That's neither here nor there. But I'm glad to hear the background of Mr. Davies. I'm sure there'll be a lot of listeners that know Mr. Davies that may not know that information about him would be thrilled to hear that also. So moving on now to the types of programs at the school. I'm not sure if you want to interject anything else there before you get into that, so we can know what the Truman Bodden Law School is offering to prospective students.
Definitely, that is our very main reason for existing, like our educating our students. So the flagship for legal innovation is the Master of Laws in International Finance. That it's our newest program, and it's the one that we want to promote because that puts together like a postgraduate program. It also responds to the demands of the of the professional job market in Cayman, and it does prepare our students to the highest level of legal performance. So the LLM in the Master of Laws in International Finance is the one that I'm in charge of managing.
Okay.
And it covers all sorts of areas of the law. So it covers like trusts, it covers arbitration and mediation. It also covers international institutions which have to do with finance. So we'll have heard about like Cayman being grey listed by the Financial Action Task Force, and this is something that we cover in the program as well. Anti-money
I was about
laundering.
to say that, and I'm sorry to cut
That's
you.
okay.
I was about to say that this program is actually so fitting to Cayman because of our industry, but also because of the time where the Cayman Islands is presently. It's something that many students should definitely expose themselves to somewhere, somehow, whatever program I think they're going to be studying at the law school.
Precisely, and that's why we put the program together. Like initially, I was hired in my current position to design the program, and now I have the absolute privilege of like teaching some of it to our students. And it is so befitting with Cayman. It is such an honorable badge to add to your CV.
Sounds tailor-made to me.
Exactly. To say that you have studied a Master of Laws in a jurisdiction that it is as beautiful and as it's interesting in Cayman. And also it is a program that we run in full partnership with the University of Liverpool in the UK.
Okay,
Which
great.
means that when you study this program, you take all your exams here, you do take all of your lessons here, you do have...
On island.
On island.
Wow, that's very convenient.
Exactly, and you do have a dedicated team of lecturers on island working full-time for the law school as well. But it is all advantages because by the time you graduate, we don't issue the degree. The University of Liverpool issues it.
Okay.
So that brings with it all the perks and all the recognition of a top Russell Group university. Now, for our listeners, to give you a bit of background, Russell Group University is the equivalent to the Ivy League in the US.
Interesting.
So it is the group of universities that are most powerful in terms of research, in terms of graduate employment, and in terms of academic prowess as well. So definitely when we put the program together, we were covering that gap in the market of reconciling top legal education with the financial background spin. Because we do believe that the program gives you the knowledge and the skills required to succeed in the job market. So our graduates mostly have gone on to have very successful careers after the program.
Okay.
So we normally get, like our average student includes a professional that is already working on island, and they do want to experience a big career boost. And what they would do is they would study the Master of Laws in International Finance with us, and then plenty of promotion opportunities or even new jobs would open to them. And some of our students that have decided to just pursue a career change and focus their efforts in international finance, because indeed it is one of the fastest growing areas in the Cayman job market and worldwide as well.
Right.
Not only it gives you the knowledge in international finance to understand what's going on in the news, but also it gives you the skills. It gives you like legal writing, legal research, and oral presentation skills, which are all very, very valuable for the job market.
Right. So tell us about. I'm excited by that, but when I hear the word finance, my brain shuts down. Anything finance or numbers. So I want to go on to the more exciting things that the law school also offers. The other degrees are the different areas of studies that the bachelor's, the LLM of honor. Anyway, that's your area of
I'll
expertise.
pirate it to that. Yes.
And any other studies that the law school offers. Tell us a little bit about how one can apply to the law school, the credentials that's needed, all that good stuff for people that are going back to school late. Let's say that. There may be different little scenarios there that the law school, I know, caters to just about every scenario that it covers a student. So it's basically almost impossible to not get into the law school the way that the Truman Bodden Law School is structured. And that's fantastic to me. So tell us a little bit about that.
Together with the Master of Laws in International Finance, we do have another 2 degrees, which are the traditional route towards practicing law.
Right.
So these are the Bachelor of Laws and the Professional Practice course. And they do different things, and they got different lengths, and they practice on different skills. So if you are considering to study law, then your best bet is the Bachelor of
Right.
Laws. The Bachelor of Laws gives you solid knowledge on the main areas of the law. So this is a program that we offer both full-time and part-time. So if you take it full-time, it's 3 years. If you take it part-time, it's 5 or 6 years.
So there's no hybrid, there's no online components.
No, we do not offer an
Okay.
online component, because we do believe that the best education is that you get in person. It is where you know your lecturers know you by your first name and surname, so there's definitely no chance to hide there.
Personalness there.
But the advantage of it is that we are here for you. Like, we are all of the lecturers are based on island, and we do have an open door policy, so you can come to see us if you've got questions, if there's something that you didn't understand, or if you just want extra work, which
Right.
yes, sometimes it happens. So the Bachelor of Laws is your main introduction into law. And it is helpful in order to pursue a legal career, the traditional one,
Right.
and becoming a qualified attorney. However, it just opens so many pathways. The Bachelor of Laws also unlocks future job opportunities for you, like in the legal profession, which
I was
is the
going
obvious
to
one,
say that, yes.
but also in like policy making, or like becoming a member of the parliament. We actually
Right.
have got several alumni that have been members of parliament.
I'm quite aware, yes.
In most
Yes.
of our
MPs,
years.
yes.
Exactly. Many of our MPs, current and past, have been alumni from the law school,
the
and
law
we're
school.
extremely proud of that. Of like seeing how they came to us and they evolved professionally after that.
Yes.
So that's only one option, but so there's like the legal career and practicing law. There is like policy making. There is becoming a member of parliament. There is like journalist. Like there's so
There's
many
even just the
opportunities.
fact of going to law school and having that knowledge and that awareness so you can function and go about your professional life in the Cayman Islands, and you can also know how the system operates, because law is something that we use every day. To me, it's equivalent to English and math. There's so much happening around us that the law applies to on a daily basis. And until you actually start to study law, you really don't pay attention to that. And in today's Cayman setting, with consumers, the consumer market, with the human introduction of human rights here, with other things that are happening on the forefront of the Cayman society. Being a student of law is important to me because it's becoming aware, you know. So I'm sorry, Laura. You can go ahead and
That's
take
okay.
it. Sometimes I get carried away when it comes anything law.
No, exactly, and you're absolutely right. Like from my own experience as well as a law graduate, albeit from other jurisdiction. With the example that I always like to give the students is that you're never going to see news or hear news on the same way. The A legal background and a legal degree gives you such a wide understanding of both local, regional, and international affairs
Yes.
that you never look at it the same way. So, as a graduate in law, you become very good at asking questions and the right questions, and at knowing what information is correct and what information you should take with a pinch of salt. So that is definitely one of the skills that you get. But
It's a way to protect yourself too.
precisely,
Yes,
like
having that knowledge.
if anything, it's a very useful degree, both in terms of the skills you get and in terms of the professional opportunities that come afterwards. So some people are set from a very early age, particularly in Cayman, because it's like the legal profession
Right.
is very abundant. Some people are very well set on becoming a lawyer and then follow the traditional track. And then when it comes the time to go to university, they decide to go to the Bachelor of Laws because that is the natural route for them. But some students might come to a law degree because they might be undecided about what to do in the future, or they might not know yet what they like. And I'd say in that case, if you are interested in pursuing a legal degree from the start, definitely do it. But if you do not know what to do, or like you want to know your options, or you just want to become a more mature and intellectually minded person, a law degree might also be the fitting for you. There is perhaps a stereotype that a law degree is not for everyone because you do need to come from a specific background. I would like to dismantle that. Like in my
I absolutely don't agree with that.
exactly.
I absolutely don't
Like,
agree with that.
in my family, I'm the a first generation student graduate, and I never considered studying law before going into the university because I had the feeling that, well, this is something that just a specific kind of kids do. But actually, I am incredibly proud that even though law is not my first degree,
Right.
that I ended up in law
Going to
because
law.
that has given me a comprehensive training and a comprehensive understanding of the world that is extremely valuable.
Right.
So if you are set on studying law, go for it. If you're undecided on what to study, just come and talk to us. We're
Absolutely.
here to help. Just come to the building, talk to us, and we will guide you through.
Yes. I think this is a perfect time to take a break now, Laura. And we'll be back in a few short minutes. Thank you for joining us.
The views and opinions expressed by the following program and its participants are solely their current opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Bobo 89.1 FM and DMS Broadcasting respective stations.
Hi, this is Patricia Bryan. Tune in on Mondays between 5 and 6:30 p.m. on Bobo 89.1 FM for my new talk show, Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan. Do you want to know about the legal system in the Cayman Islands? Do you want to be informed about legal issues surrounding employment law, civil litigation, landlord and tenant, criminal law, family law, wills and trust, estates? We will discuss this all on my new legal talk show where there's nothing going on except legal talk. It's called Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan, Mondays at 5 to 6:30 p.m. on Bobo 89.1 FM. We're back again with Laura from the Truman Bodden Law School, here to continue our conversation. Laura, where were we? We were talking about the pathway to becoming a lawyer by attending the Truman Bodden Law School and what that entails. So let's pick up where you left off. You're doing a great job, by the way. I know Mr. Davies. Mr. Davies, I know you'll be very proud of Laura. As usual, she's your PR person.
Yep, an official PR of the law school. Right, so we have talked, like before the break, we have talked about how the law degree unlocks plenty of professional opportunities and
Right.
professional pathways for you. But there is one that is the classic one, which is the pathway to becoming an attorney. You know, all of these like fancy guys and gals that have their gowns and their wigs and go to represent clients in court and all of that. For a start, like, do not believe everything that you see in the movies. The life of an attorney is not as fancy as it is depicted in multiple TV series.
Especially not in the English life of the legal field. It's totally different in America.
Yes. So I would suggest that if you're considering becoming an attorney, just find someone that you admire and contact them. Because in my own personal experience in Cayman, and I've done plenty of interviews here for my research, people in Cayman are quite approachable.
Absolutely.
So if you are considering becoming an attorney and you don't know whether that's a career that would suit you, find an attorney you trust and just talk to them. Ask them questions about like how they got to become an attorney, the reasons why they did it, and what a day in their life looks like. And that will help you assess if this is something you like. So if you would like to become an attorney in Cayman, you do have a long way in front of you, but it is a structured and a known one. And ultimately, if plenty of people did it before you, why not you? You can do it as well. So your path starts in the Bachelor of Laws, the one that we were talking about before, that is like 3 years full-time or 5 or 6 years part-time.
Okay.
And that would
That's
give
important
you,
information.
and that will give you a broad perspective to the law. And what the Bachelor of Laws does, it prepares you to study and understand the law. Like, it allows you to answer the questions on why the law is a bit like that.
Right.
Why the law protects some interests. How did the law, how do laws come to exist? How they are passed. So that gives you a general understanding on why the system is made like that.
Right. So after a student has taken the degree, whether part-time or full-time, what's the next step after that?
Well, the next step after that is to take the professional practice course, which you can also take with us.
Is that part-time or full-time also? Or?
That is only full-time.
Okay.
Because that has got a different approach to the Bachelor of Laws.
Okay. And how long is that?
The professional practice course is 1 year in length.
Okay.
And it is only available full-time. And believe me, you are going to need the full-time. It is a very intense program, and it's got a different approach to the Bachelor of Laws. So the professional practice course is the one that gives you the practical understanding of the law.
Right.
So it is the one that tells you, well, I want to do this, and it's the one that gives you the answer of how I actually do it.
Okay.
So far we've got the 3 years full-time for the Bachelor of Laws, plus 1 year of the professional practice course.
Okay. And what comes after that? Is there
What comes afterwards is
exciting part? I love
a
that.
lifetime of, let's call it excitement.
Yes.
What comes after that is the article clerkship.
That's the interesting part for me.
Yes, the article clerkship is how we call what would be the traineeship to become an attorney.
Right.
So it is 2 years where you would be under the supervision of fully qualified attorneys, and you would
And can you give us some areas of, and I'm sorry,
That's
can
okay.
you give us some areas where students can do articleships?
Yes, so our students, every article clerkship would have to do what is called like seats.
Right.
And that means that they would have to practice, I believe it's a minimum of 4 areas, 6 months each.
Okay.
So they do have to go through that practical training throughout the 2 years, always under the supervision of qualified attorneys.
Okay, so
And
that could be in, for example, the courthouse, the judicial system,
Well,
judicial department of law firm.
it would depend on what they choose to
Okay.
specialize themselves in, but it could be like family matters, or it could be probate, or it could be finance, or it could be trusts. So there would have to be training in several areas of the law, and
okay.
a very practical training for that matter. And after completing the article clerkship for 2 years, then they can become members of the bar. And
Okay.
and once you join the Cayman Bar, then you're a qualified Caymanian attorney, and then you can represent clients in court. So remember, just to summarize, the Bachelor of Laws, 3 years, which you can take with us, the professional practice course 1 year, which you can also take with us, then the article clerkship 2 years, and then you are good to go.
So, thank you for that, Laura. Great information. My big question to you now, does the law school have any type of scholarships? I know there's lots of scholarships floating around out there from my research. I don't think there are enough scholarships. But for instance, if there's students who would love to become an attorney or love to attend the law school, what types of scholarships are you aware of that you could perhaps just, share that information out there that students could look into? Or if there are prospective viewers or listeners that would love to sponsor a scholarship through the Truman Bodden Law School, that would be great also. We're putting out a call for that because the more the merrier. Tell us a little bit about that, Laura, please.
All of our programs at the law school are eligible for the Department of Education scholarships.
Right, that's a big one.
Exactly. So your best bet is, if you are a Caymanian or an eligible resident, your best bet is to get in touch quickly, as quickly as you can, with the Department of Education, because they do provide scholarships that are comprehensive. That means they give you funds for your law school fees. They also give you funding for your books and photocopies and any other materials you might need.
Right.
So that is definitely an option that is worth pursuing.
Okay.
You do need to maintain a standard of marks, but if you work hard, you can do it. And then there is all sorts of scholarships provided by the law firms.
Right, some of the major law firms and smaller ones also do.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if you're considering to study, to pursue legal studies, contact the law firms, because many of them, and I do not want to say any names to give them an unfair advantage, but many of the local law firms provide scholarships. And we have, plenty of our students are recipients of such scholarships.
Right.
So definitely do not allow the stereotypes of studying law get in the way of a good legal education. If this is something that you want to do, talk to us, talk to the law firms, find attorneys that would tell you what their daily life looks like. Pursue it. It is absolutely worth it. Yeah. One of the pillars of the Truman Bodden Law School is to widen access to legal careers, and
that's the reason I'm doing this show, and the reason that I had you on as my first guest, because that's exactly the intention I'm hoping to accomplish. We're exposing the legal field. We're exposing that there's this great reputable law school, the Truman Bodden Law School in the Cayman Islands, the gem that's hidden, and I'm hoping that it will draw more residents into the law school, as well as international students into the law school also. One thing I wanted to ask, if you could give us an idea of what the average class size is there, and something that's very, very important to me in education is an institution having the services of what is known as adaptive services or special services for students that may have learning differences or learning challenges. And that is something that's very, very important to me to advocate for in any education system or learning path. So I'm sure you can touch on that a bit. I did speak to Mr. Davies about that, but not extensively as you probably can from a general perspective.
Yes, absolutely. So one of our pillars at the Truman Bodden Law School is to be the best advocates for diversity. So we do have small class sizes in comparison with UK and US universities of about 20 to 30 students. Our numbers have actually gone up after the COVID-19 pandemic because we demonstrated how resilient the law school was.
Right.
We stuck to in-person education for as long as we could, and we resumed as soon as we could as well. And that's actually demonstrated that locally there is a small but mighty law school that can do all things a bigger law school can, and
absolutely.
Even better. So our numbers have gone up, but even so, we have relatively small class sizes, and that works to the advantage of the students because,
Absolutely.
the lower the number of students, the more lecturer per student there is.
Right.
So they actually can talk to us, and they can come to see us in the office, and the students find that is an extreme added value to it. Actually, one of the bits of my profession that I enjoy the most is the pastoral care aspect of it. We each one of us lecturers have got some tutees, which are some students that are allocated to us for us to provide them with support throughout. And, we are like a shoulder to cry when things do not go according to plan, which can
Right.
happen. And we are also their greatest supporters, and we celebrate every achievement with them. So actually, that fills me with so much satisfaction when a student just knocks on my door and says, "Hi, I just want to have a conversation with you about career issues or about law school issues." And they have that confidence and that trust to come to see us.
Right.
And on that note, we're definitely advocates for diversity, because we do have within, even though our small class sizes are small, we do have plenty of diverse students. So we do have your classic law student of 18 years old, straight from the A levels or from an associate program,
Right.
that is determined to study law from the beginning. But we do also have mature students, and it's students that decided to pursue other career paths, and then they have realized that they actually would like to study a law degree.
And now that you're saying that, it's deviating a little bit from the question that I asked about the adaptive services and special assistant services for students who, for example, may have dyslexia or may have ADHD or something like that. But touching a little bit, going back to what you were just saying,
about diversity and how we promote diverse kinds of students.
Right.
We do have high school graduates, but
Right.
we also have more mature students. that
So
come to us.
so the question I was going to ask is the criteria for application to the law school, because I think we missed that earlier in the
Yes.
show. Yes, that's very important.
And the diversity aspect of it.
Right.
So we'll go through the admissions, and then we'll go through embracing different learning styles. So in terms of admissions to the law school, those that are straight from high school and want to study a law degree, you are required to take A levels or to have an associate's degree. So if you have taken A levels, you need at least 2 passes. And the exact details is something that you should ask us in more detail. We can also verify your marks and then tell you if you're eligible for our admission into our studies. If you have studied an associate's degree, depending on the kind of degree that it is and subject to having a GPA that we consider high enough, you can also apply to us. So those are 2 straightforward routes to come
Right.
to the law school.
Right.
However, if you are a mature student,
What would you consider a mature student?
Oh,
Or what does the law school consider a mature student?
it is a student that is of 21 years old
Okay.
or older. So you can still come with us and study with us, even if you do not hold a previous university degree.
And that's an exam or a test that needs to be taken.
Yes.
Yes.
So your deadline is earlier. So this year, I believe it has already passed. But if you're a mature student, I would encourage you to still contact us and see whether we can accommodate your mature entrance. Because if you are a mature student, then you can take the mature entrance examination with us.
Right.
And this is a separate exam where we would evaluate your current skills, and then we would decide if you would be eligible to our program. So if you are considering to study law and you do not come from a stable academic background, but you are truly motivated for it, always do not live with a doubt. Contact us, come to visit us at the law school.
Right. Now, something that's very important to know, the application fee.
And
Everybody wants to know about an application fee. If there's one, and how much is it?
right, so for the application fee itself is $150 for us
Okay.
to consider your application.
Right.
And then if you are admitted to the program, then the law school fees are 6,000 CI dollars per year for Caymanians and eligible residents.
Which is very competitive compared to the rest of the world.
It is an extremely competitive
competitive,
price
yes.
for legal studies. or 14,000 CI for international students.
Right. So that's students that are non-Caymanians.
Yes.
Right. Okay. That's still very competitive.
It is.
Even-
It is still certainly
Yes,
competitive.
Definitely. Definitely.
If you compare it with like top US and UK universities, our prices are extremely reasonable.
Oh, I know. I was surprised myself. Not saying that you guys have to go up on the fees now, but it is very, very encouraging to see that the fees have still stayed in a competitive level, affordable level for students, even on an international scale, you know? So I'm sorry, you wanted to
Yeah, and of course, like if you secure a scholarship, then the scholarship will take care of those fees.
Right.
So my advice would be, like, if you want to study law, apply as early as possible. Give yourself enough time to apply to every possible scholarship that there is, because many of our students have got scholarships, and that just gives them so much more confidence, and it gives and it improves their CV so much. So. Plan in advance wherever possible.
Right. So we're back quickly to the adaptive services. I know I've seen examples without going into any details of how the school has accommodated some students with different physical or psychological, for lack of a better way of putting it, educational psychological obstacles. I hate to use the word challenges. I prefer the word obstacles because they can be moved or they can be worked around. So quickly, if you could touch on that for us. So and for the student, even for myself, for example, I have a learning challenge where I have my short-term memory. We have a short-term and long-term memory, so we take information into our short-term memory, then we transfer that, and then it goes into our long-term memory for storage and reuse over and over. So my short-term memory is a little on the dipper side, and that is an obstacle that I have. So for me, I have to read something over and over for it to absorb. And I usually have to read it in hard copy when I'm learning specific things. So that is an example of a student with an adaptive challenge, or students with what is called in the scientific world a student with a disability. So how does the Truman Bodden Law School handle a student like that?
We do have students with learning diversity issues, I'd say, and that goes very much in line with what we were stating before about the TBLS embracing diversity, not only in our student community, but also in the learning styles and the learning challenges that our students might have. That is very commonplace, like having like some difficulty learning, or like having some I don't like to call it disability, like
I
having
don't
some
like that
learning
word
challenge,
either.
as you were
Yes.
saying. It is extremely commonplace today.
Absolutely.
There is a lot of fear from students that might suspect that they have something, but
ADHD, for example, is
It's
very
very
commonly
common. It's very
diagnosed
common.
now, and students will be, I want to go to law school, but I can't go because I have ADHD and my brain isn't functioning like other regular students, so I can't go to law school. But I know the Truman Bodden Law School will accommodate students like that. So I'm just trying to get a better understanding of how they do it. Is there reports required, or you just go in and talk to Mr. Davies, or is it a combination of both? Or
it's a change of mentality that is required, and it's something that the Truman Bodden Law School has already done. So a couple of decades ago, even like being left-handed or wearing glasses was
Right.
considered a factor of shame that shouldn't happen, and that led to many people just struggling for
Right,
issues
right.
that did not deserve that struggle. So we do recognize that and we embrace that. And what is most important, I'd say, is if you do think that you have some different learning style or some learning difficulty, get it diagnosed. There's absolutely no shame on
Absolutely
it. And it
not.
is all advantages, because then you know what to do
You-
in
you-
order
yeah,
to overcome
absolutely.
it. We do have resources, we do have tools that you can use, and Truman Bodden Law School definitely embraces that. So we do have, we are a team of 9, which again, it's a small but mighty law school, and we welcome students to disclose those learning difficulties to the people in charge of it. And what we would do is we would provide, in partnership with the University of Liverpool, we would provide adjustments. So the crucial one is in terms of your examinations. If you do have a learning difficulty and you demonstrate it to us early on, then by the time that your exams takes place, we have already put the mechanisms in place.
Right.
So whether that is conducting your exam in a small separate room, or whether it is conducting your exam with you alone, or whether it is like giving you more time to answer the exam, or a stop the clock arrangement, or like having late submission penalties removed. So that means that you can submit a bit earlier than everybody. A bit later than everybody else. As long as you demonstrate that you do have a learning difficulty, we are there to support you. We do know what to do. We do treat all information confidentially and only disclose
Which is very important to a student.
We only disclose information to the people that really need to know about this. But then once we do know, that's the most important thing. Once we do know, we are able to put the mechanisms in place. Also, we have recently introduced, in partnership with the University of Liverpool, what we called appropriate marking. So for those students that have got dyslexia or like reading difficulties, we do focus on the content and not so much on specific grammar issues.
Wow, Laura,
And
that is fantastic.
And that is an
really,
official policy
really
by the
fantastic.
University of Liverpool that we stick to.
That is fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that. So we're going to wrap it up. For prospective students that may want to apply to the law school, do you have any final words and encouragement? Let us know the phone number for the Truman Bodden Law School. Let us know their website address. And, say something nice. You're a very nice person. Mr. Davies is very nice also. So the students can come flooding in, because we want more students in the Cayman Islands, more residents. We want some international students coming into our islands and coming to the Truman Bodden Law School. And Laura here has done a fantastic job, a great, immensely great job in promoting that. By the time our listeners finish listening to this recording, I'm hoping people will see the value of learning the law, whether to become an attorney or simply to just want to be aware of how the law is structured, how the law functions, how it applies to your daily life as you go about, whether on your job or, business transactions or just anything social. It's very important to learn about the law. And I think the school also has a few where you can take, is it individual classes or individual classes about?
You can also take individual modules.
Like if you just want to do criminal law class on criminal law, you can do that.
You could. And then if that is what you would like to pursue, then you need to get in contact with us so that we can have a specialized study plan for you.
Right. Okay, so just let us know the phone number for the Truman Bodden Law School, and let us know the website address for our listening people over the radio, so they can get in touch with the Truman Bodden Law School. I hope this is going to be so productive. The comment that I would like to put forward about the law school is do not be afraid of studying law. If you want to do it, law is for you. There is no specific kind of student. There's no specific age. There's no learning disability that should put you away from studying a law degree. It gives you a great understanding about society, about life, and it makes you a better, more informed citizen. So if you are considering to study law, or you're undecided, or you want a career change, or you just don't know what to do, just come to see us at the law school. Whoever is there will take your queries extremely seriously, and in an amicable way would give you some advice. Right.
You do not need to be a student of us in order to apply for information for the law school. So if you're undecided, or if this is something that you really want to do, get in touch with us. We can help. We're here for you locally and in person. So the best way of contacting the law school is either to check the website, because I believe that we're transitioning between phone numbers now.
Right.
So your best bet would be to just type in any search engine on the internet, like Cayman Law School.
Truman Bodden Law School or Cayman Law School.
Yeah, our website is caymanlawschool.ky. or lawschool.gov.ky. So that is caymanlawschool.ky or lawschool.gov.ky. And the law school has all of the phone numbers you need, all of the email addresses you have.
yes. And use keywords. Google is very good for keywords. I'm not sure about Siri, but
Exactly. And if you are one person that just prefers the personal touch and just to talk to us, just come to the law school in person. We're open every day during business hours, even throughout summer. So there's no such thing as summer break for us.
Right.
We're open all year round, except of course for weekends and
Right.
public holidays. So just come to see us. It is the Monaco Towers building. It is, as Patricia said, yes, it's a building where Starbucks is.
right upstairs Starbucks,
Yes.
guys.
Right in front of the courts, by the bus depot. We're in the middle of Georgetown. You cannot miss us. So just enter the building and go to the second floor, and you have our lovely administrative assistant, Cleta.
Yes.
Which is very
very,
efficient.
very nice.
And she will welcome each one of your queries, and she would redirect to the right she would redirect you to the right person. So just Google Cayman Law School, and then you'll get all of our phone numbers, all of our emails, and
addresses.
all of the information you need. And if in doubt, come to see us, talk to us, and we will help you.
Well, Laura, thank you very much for that. This has been really informative. I hope the listeners have been informed as well. And I want to thank Mr. Davies, again, the director of the Truman Bodden Law School, for allowing a guest to come on the show and speak about the school, and the very personable Laura.
Thank you.
Can you pronounce your last name again for me?
Yes, it's Laura Panades.
Oh, you hear that, guys? I was not able to do that. But it's been a pleasure, Laura. I am very proud of the Truman Bodden Law School. And I hope that this will be a window and a door opening for our listeners and residents to think about the importance of being aware and knowledgeable about the laws, especially the laws of the Cayman Islands, and how that will equip you for a better, productive life here. Thank you very much for listening. This has been Patricia Bryan on Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan. Tune in next Monday for another session with another new exciting guest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations for the program. Thank
you, Laura. Hi, this is Patricia Bryan. I would like to invite you to my brand new show starting on June 26th at 5 to 6:30 p.m. on Monday evenings, called Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan. I'll talk to you soon. Hi, this is Patricia Bryan. Tune in on Mondays between 5 and 6:30 p.m. on Bobo 89.1 FM for my new talk show, Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan. Do you want to know about the legal system in the Cayman Islands? Do you want to be informed about legal issues surrounding employment law, civil litigation, landlord and tenant, criminal law, family law, wills and trust, estates? We will discuss this all on my new legal talk show, where there's nothing going on except legal talk. It's called Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan,